Good morning. Today's going to be a long one. It is Ezekiel 24 through 33. Not sure why they divided it up this way, but it's the reading plan, so we'll get through it. The message of God came to me in the 9th year of the 10th month and the 10th day of the month. Son of man, write down this date. The king of Babylon has laid siege to Jerusalem this very day. Tell this company of rebels a story. Put on the soup pot, fill it with water. Put chunks of meat into it, all the choice pieces, loin and brisket. Pick out the best soup bones from the best of the sheep in the flock. Pile wood beneath the pot, bring it to a boil, and cook the soup. God the Master says, doomed to the city of murder, to the pot thick with scum, thick with a filth that cannot be scoured. Empty the pot piece by piece, don't bother who gets what. The blood from murders has stained the whole city. Blood runs bold on the street stones, with no one bothering to wash it off. Blood out in the open to public view to provoke my wrath, to trigger my vengeance. Therefore, this is what God the Master says. Doomed to the city of murder, I too will pile on the wood. Stack the wood high, light the match. Cook the meat, spice it well, pour out the broth, and then burn the bones. Then I'll set the empty pot on the coals and heat it red hot, so the bronze glows, so the germs are killed and the corruption is burned off. But it's hopeless. It's too far gone. The filth is too thick. Your encrusted filth is your filthy sex. I wanted to clean you up, but you wouldn't let me. I'll make no more attempts at cleaning you up until my anger quiets down. I, God, have said it, and I'll do it. I'm not holding back. I've run out of compassion. I'm not changing my mind. You're getting exactly what's coming to you. Decree of God, the Master. God's message came to me, Son of man, I'm about to take you from the delight of your life. A real blow, I know. But please, no tears. Keep your grief to yourself. No public mourning. Get dressed as usual and go about your work. None of the usual funeral rituals. I'll preach to the people in the morning. That evening my wife died. The next morning I did as I've been told. The people came to me saying, tell us why you're acting like this. What does it mean anyway? So I told them, God's word came to me, saying, tell the family of Israel, this is what God the Master says. I will desecrate my sanctuary, your proud impregnable force, the delight of your life, your heart's desire. The children you left behind will be killed. Then you'll do exactly as I've done. You'll perform none of the usual funeral rituals. You'll get dressed as usual and go about your work. No tears. But your sins will eat away at you from within, and you'll groan among yourselves. Ezekiel will be your example. The way he did it is the way you'll do it. When this happens, you'll recognize that I am God, the Master. And you, Son of man, the day I take away the people's refuge, their great joy, the delight of their life, what they've most longed for along with all their children. On that very day a survivor will arrive and tell you what happened to the city. You'll break your silence and start talking again, talking to the survivor. Again, you'll be an example for them and they'll recognize that I am God. God's message came to me, Son of man. Face Ammon and preach against the people. Listen to the message of God, the Master. This is what God has to say. Because you cheered when my sanctuary was desecrated, and the land of Judah was devastated, and the people of Israel were taken into exile, I'm giving you over to the people of the east. They'll move in and make themselves at home, eating the food right off your tables and drinking your milk. I'll turn your capital, Rabbah, into pasture for camels, and all your villages into corrals for flocks. Then you'll realize that I am God. God the Master says, because you clapped and cheered, venting all your malicious contempt against the land of Israel, I'll step in and hand you out as loot. First come, first served. I'll cross you off the roster of nations. There'll be nothing left of you, and you'll realize that I am God. God the Master says, because Moab said, look, Judah's nothing special. I'll lay wide open the flank of Moab by exposing its lovely frontier villages to attack. Beth Jeheshmoth, Baal Meon, and Kiriathaim. I'll lump Moab in with Ammon and give them to the people of the east for the taking. Ammon won't be heard from again. I'll punish Moab severely, and they'll realize that I am God. God the Master says, because Edom reacted against the people of Judah in spiteful revenge, and was so criminally vengeful against them. Therefore I, God the Master, will oppose Edom and kill the lot of them, people and animals both. I'll waste it. Corpses stretch from Teman to Dedan. I'll use my people Israel to bring my vengeance down on Edom. My wrath will fuel their action, and they'll realize it's my vengeance. Decree of the Master. God the Master says, because the Philistines were so spitefully vengeful, all those centuries of stored up malice, and did their best to destroy Judah, therefore I, God the Master, will oppose the Philistines and cut down the Cretans, and anybody else left among the seacoast. Huge acts of vengeance, massive punishments. When I bring vengeance, they'll realize that I am God. In the 11th year, on the first day of the month, God's message came to me. Son of man. Tyre cheered when they got the news of Jerusalem, exclaiming, good, the gateway city is smashed. Now all her business comes my way. She's in ruins and I'm in clover. Therefore God the Master has this to say, I am against you, Tyre, and I'll bring many nations surging against you, as the waves of the sea surging against the shore. They'll smash the city walls of Tyre and break down her towers. I'll wash away the soil and leave nothing but bare rock. She'll be an island of bare rock in the ocean, good for nothing but drying fish nets. Yes, I've said so, decree of God the Master. She'll be loot, free pickings for the nations. Her surrounding villages will be butchered. Then they'll realize that I am God. God the Master says, look, out of the north I'm bringing Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king's king, down on Tyre. He'll come with chariots and horses and riders, a huge army. He'll massacre your surrounding villages and lay siege to you. He'll build siege ramps against your walls. A forest of shields will advance against you. He'll pummel your walls with his battering rams and shatter your towers with his iron weapons. You'll be covered with dust from his horde of horses, a thundering herd of war horses pouring through the breaches, pulling chariots. Oh, it will be an earthquake of an army and a city in shock. Horses will stampede through the streets. Your people will be slaughtered, your huge pillars strewn like matchsticks. The invaders will steal and loot and all that wealth, all that stuff. They'll knock down your fine houses and dump the stone and timber, rubble into the sea. And your parties, your famous good time parties, will be no more. No more songs, no more lutes. I'll reduce you to an island of bare rock, good for nothing but drying fish nets. You'll never be rebuilt. I, God, have said so. Decree of God, the Master. This is the message of God, the Master, to Tyre. Won't the ocean islands shake at the crash of your collapse, at the groans of your wounded, at your mayhem and massacre? All up and down the coast, the princes will come down from their thrones, take off their royal robes and fancy clothes, and wrap themselves in sheer terror. They'll sit on the ground, shaken to the core, horrified at you. Then they'll begin chanting a funeral song over you. Sunk, sunk to the bottom of the sea, famous city on the sea. Power of the seas, you and your people, intimidating everyone who lived in your shadows. But now the islands are shaking at the sound of your crash, ocean islands in tremors from the impact of your fall. The message of God the Master, when I turn you into a wasted city, a city empty of people, a ghost town, and when I bring up the great ocean deeps and cover you, then I'll push you down among those who go to the grave, the long, long dead. I'll make you live there, in the grave in old ruins, with the buried dead. You'll never see the land of the living again. I'll introduce you to the terrors of death, and that'll be the end of you. They'll send out search parties for you, but you'll never be found. Decree of God, the Master. God's message came to me. You, son of man, raise a funeral song over Tyre. Tell Tyre, gateway to the sea, merchant to the world, trader among the far-off islands. This is what God the Master says. You boast, Tyre, I'm the perfect ship, stately, handsome. You ruled the high seas from a real beauty, crafted to perfection. Your planking came from Mount Hermon junipers. A Lebanon cedar supplied your mast. They made your oars from sturdy Bashan oaks. Cypress from Cyprus inlaid with ivory was used for the decks. Your sail and flag were of colorful embroidered linen from Egypt. Your purple deck awnings also came from Cyprus. Men of Sidon and Arvad pulled the oars. Your seasoned seamen, O Tyre, were the crew. Ship's carpenters were old salts from Byblos. All the ships of the sea and their sailors clustered around you to barter for your goods. Your army was composed of soldiers from Paris, Lud, and Put. Elite troops in uniform splendor, they put you on the map. Your city police were imported from Arvad, Helek, and Gamad. They hung their shields from the city walls, a final perfect touch to your beauty. Tarshish carried on business with you because of your great wealth. They worked for you, trading in silver, iron, tin, and lead for your products. Greece, Tubal, and Meshech did business with you, trading slaves and bronze for your products. Beth Togarmah traded work horses, war horses, and mules for your products. The people of Rhodes did business with you. Many far-off islands traded with you in ivory and ebony. Edom did business with you because of all your goods. They traded for your products with agate, purple textiles, embroidered cloth, fine linen, coral, and rubies. Judah and Israel did business with you. They traded for your products with premium wheat, millet, honey, oil, and balm. Damascus, attracted by your vast array of products and well-stocked warehouses, carried on business with you, trading in wine from Helbon and wool from Zahar. Danites and Greeks from Uzal traded with you, using wrought iron, cinnamon, and spices. Dedan traded with you for saddle blankets. Arabia and all the Bedouin sheikhs of Cedar traded lambs, rams, and goats with you. Traders from Sheba and Ramah in South Arabia carried on business with you in premium spices, precious stones, and gold. Haran, Cana, and Eden from the east in Assyria and Media traded with you. Traded with you, bringing elegant clothes, dyed textiles, and elaborate carpets to your bazaar. The great Tarshish ships were your freighters, importing and exporting. Oh, it was big business for you, trafficking the seaways. Your sailors row mightily, taking you into the high seas. Then a storm out of the east shatters your ship in the ocean deep. Everything sinks, your rich goods and products, sailors and crews, ship's carpenters and soldiers, sink to the bottom of the sea. Total shipwreck. The cries of your sailors reverberate on shore. Sailors everywhere abandon ship. Veteran seamen swim for dry land. They cry out in grief, a choir of bitter lament over you. They smear their faces with ashes, shave their heads, wear rough burlap, wildly keening their loss. They raise their funeral song, who on the high seas is like Tyre. As you crisscross the seas with your products, you satisfied many peoples. Your worldwide trade made earth's kings rich, and now you're battered to bits by the waves, sunk to the bottom of the sea, and everything you've bought and sold has sunk to the bottom with you. Everyone on shore looks on in terror. The hair of kings stands on end, their faces drawn and haggard. The buyers and sellers of the world throw up their hands. This horror can't happen. Oh, this has happened. God's message came to me, Son of man, tell the Prince of Tyre. This is what God the Master says. Your heart is proud, going around saying, I'm a god. I sit on God's divine throne, ruling the sea. You, a mere mortal, not even close to being a god. A mere mortal trying to be a god. Look, you think you're smarter than Daniel. No enigmas can stump you. Your sharp intelligence made you world wealthy. You piled up gold and silver in your banks. You used your head well, worked good deals, made a lot of money. But the money has gone to your head, swelled your head. What a big head. Therefore, God the Master says, because you're acting like a god, pretending to be a god, I'm giving fair warning. I'm bringing strangers down on you, the most vicious of all nations. They'll pull their swords and make hash of your reputation, knowing full well of your reputation for knowing it all. Sorry about that. And they'll puncture the balloon of your God pretensions. They'll bring you down from your self-made pedestal and bury you in the deep blue sea. Will you protest your assassins? You can't do that. I'm a god. To them, you're a mere mortal. They're killing a man, not a god. You'll die like a stray dog killed by strangers, because I said so. Decree of God, the Master. God's message came to me, Son of man. Raise a funeral song over the king of Tyre. Tell him a message from God the Master. You had everything going for you. You were in Eden, God's garden. You were dressed in splendor, your robe studded with jewels, carnelian, peridot, and moonstone, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald, in all in settings of engraved gold. A robe was prepared for you the same day you were created. You were the anointed cherub. I placed you on the mountain of God. You strolled in magnificence among the stones of fire. From the day of your creation you were sheer perfection. Then imperfection, evil, was detected in you. In much buying and selling you turned violent. You sinned. I threw you, disgraced, off the mountain of God. I threw you out, you, the anointed angel, cherub. No more strolling among the gems of fire for you. Your beauty went to your head. You corrupted wisdom by using it to get worldly fame. I threw you to the ground, sent you sprawling before an audience of kings, and let them gloat over your demise. By sin after sin after sin, by your corrupt ways of doing business, you defiled your holy places of worship. So I set a fire around you and within you. It burned you up. I reduced you to ashes. All anyone sees now when they look for you is ashes, a pitiful mound of ashes. All who once knew you now throw up their hands. This can't have happened. This has happened. God's message came to me, Son of Man. Confront Sidon, preach against it. Say message from God the Master. Look, I'm against you, Sidon. I intend to be known for who I truly am among you. They'll know that I am God when I set things right and reveal my holy presence. I'll order an epidemic of disease there along with murder and mayhem in the streets. People will drop dead right and left as war presses in from every side. Then they'll realize that I mean business, that I am God. No longer will Israel have to put up with their thistle and thorn neighbors who have treated them so contemptuously, and they also will realize that I am God. God the Master says, when I gather Israel from the peoples among whom they've been scattered, and put my holiness on display among them, with all the nations looking on, then they'll live in their own land that I gave to my servant Jacob. They'll live there in safety. They'll build houses. They'll plant vineyards, living in safety. Meanwhile, I'll bring judgment on all the neighbors who have treated them with such contempt, and they'll realize that I am God. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, on the 12th day, God's message came to me. Son of man, confront Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Preach against him and all the Egyptians. Tell him, God the Master says, watch out, Pharaoh, king of Egypt. I'm dead set against you, you lumbering old dragon, lolling and flaccid in the Nile, saying, it's my Nile, I made it, it's mine. I'll set hooks in your mouth. I'll make the fish of the Nile stick to your scales. I'll pull you out of the Nile with all the fish stuck to your scales. Then I'll drag you out into the desert, you and all the Nile fish sticking to your scales. You'll lie there in the open, rotting in the sun, meat to the wild animals and carrion birds. Everybody living in Egypt will realize that I am God. Because you've been a flimsy reed crutch to Israel, so that when they gripped you, you splintered and cut their hand, and when they leaned on you, you broke and sent them sprawling. Message of God the Master. I'll bring war against you, do away with people and animals alike, turn the country into an empty desert so they'll realize that I am God. Because you said, it's my Nile, I made it, it's all mine. Therefore, I am against you and your rivers. I'll reduce Egypt to an empty, desolate wasteland, all the way from Migdol in the north to Syene, and the border of Ethiopia in the south. Not a human will be seen in it, nor will an animal move through it. It'll be just empty desert, empty for 40 years. I'll make Egypt the most desolate of all desolations. For 40 years, I'll make her cities the most wasted of all wasted cities. I'll scatter Egyptians to the four winds, send them off every which way into exile. But, says God the Master, that's not the end of it. After the 40 years, I'll gather up the Egyptians from all the places where they've been scattered. I'll put things back together again for Egypt. I'll bring her back to Pathros, where she got her start long ago. There she'll start over again from scratch. She'll take her place at the bottom of the ladder, and there she'll stay, never to climb that ladder again, never to be a world power again. Never again will Israel be tempted to rely on Egypt. All she'll be to Israel is a reminder of old sin. Then Egypt will realize that I am God, the Master. In the 27th year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, God's message came to me. Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has worn out his army against Tyre. They've worked their fingers to the bone, have nothing to show for it. Therefore God the Master says, I'm giving Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He'll haul away its wealth, pick the place clean. He'll pay his army with Egyptian plunder. He's been working for me all these years without pay. This is his pay. Egypt, decree of God the Master. And then I'll stir up fresh hope in Israel, the dawn of deliverance. And I'll give you, Ezekiel, bold and confident words to speak. And they'll realize that I am God. God the Master spoke to me, Son of man, preach. Give them the message of God the Master. Wail. Doomsday, time's up. God's big day of judgment is near. Thick clouds are rolling in. It's doomsday for the nations. Death will rain down on Egypt. Terror will paralyze Ethiopia. When they see the Egyptians killed, their wealth hauled off, their foundations demolished, and Ethiopia, Put, Lud, Arabia, Libya, and all of Egypt's old allies killed right along with them. God says, Egypt's allies will fall and her proud strength will collapse. From Migdol in the north to Syene in the south, a great slaughter in Egypt. Decree of God, the Master. Egypt, most desolate of the desolate, her cities wasted beyond wasting, will realize that I am God when I burn her down, and her helpers are knocked flat. When that happens, I'll send out messengers by ship to sound the alarm among the easygoing Ethiopians. They'll be terrorized. Egypt's doomed. Judgment's coming. God the Master says, I'll put a stop to Egypt's arrogance. I'll use Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to do it. He and his army, the most brutal of nations, shall be used to destroy the country. They'll brandish their swords and fill Egypt with corpses. I'll dry up the Nile and sell off the land to a bunch of crooks. I'll hire outsiders to come in and waste the country, strip it clean. I, God, have said so. And now this is what God the Master says. I'll smash all the no-God idols. I'll topple all those huge statues in Memphis. The prince of Egypt will be gone for good, and in his place I'll put fear throughout Egypt. I'll demolish Pathros, burn Zoan to the ground, and punish Thebes. Pour my wrath on Pelusium, Egypt's fort, and knock Thebes off its proud pedestal. I'll set Egypt on fire. Pelusium will writhe in pain. Thebes blown away. Memphis raped. The young warriors of On and Pi Beseth will be killed and the cities exiled. A dark day for Taphanes when I shatter Egypt, when I break Egyptian power and put an end to her arrogant oppression. She'll disappear in a cloud of dust, her cities hauled off as exiles. That's how I punish Egypt, and that's how she'll realize that I am God. In the 11th year, on the 7th day of the first month, God's message came to me. Son of man, I've broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and look, it hasn't been set. No splint has been put on it so the bones can knit and heal, so he can use a sword again. Therefore, God the Master says, I am dead set against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and will go ahead and break his other arms. Both arms broken. There's no way he'll ever swing a sword again. I'll scatter Egyptians all over the world. I'll make the arms of the king of Babylon strong and put my sword in his hand. But I'll break the arms of Pharaoh and he'll groan like one who is mortally wounded. I'll make the arms of the king of Babylon strong But the arms of Pharaoh shall go limp. The Egyptians will realize that I am God when I place my sword in the hand of the king of Babylon. He'll wield it against Egypt, and I'll scatter Egyptians all over the world. Then they'll realize that I am God. In the 11th year, on the first day of the third month, God's message came to me. Son of man, tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that pompous old goat. Who do you, astride the world, think you really are? Look, Assyria was a big tree, huge as a Lebanon cedar. Beautiful limbs offering cool shade, skyscraper high, piercing the clouds. The waters gave it a drink, the primordial deep lifted it high, gushing out rivers around the place where it was planted, and then branching out in streams to all the trees in the forest. It was immense, dwarfing all the trees in the forest, thick boughs, long limbs, roots delving deep into earth's water. All the birds of the air nested in its boughs. All the wild animals gave birth under its branches. All the mighty nations lived in its shade. It was stunning in its majesty, the reach of its branches, the depth of its water-seeking roots. Not a cedar in God's garden came close to it. No pine tree was anything like it. Mighty oaks looked like bushes growing alongside it. Not a tree in God's garden was in the same class of beauty. I made it beautiful, a work of art in limbs and leaves, the envy of every tree in Eden, every last tree in God's garden. Therefore God the Master says, because it's skyscrapered upward, piercing the clouds, swaggering and proud of its stature, I turned it over to a world-famous leader to call its evil to account. I've had enough. Outsiders, unbelievingly brutal, felled it across the mountain ranges. Its branches were strewn through all the valleys, its leafy boughs clogging all the streams and rivers. Because its shade was gone, everybody walked off, no longer a tree, just a log. On that dead log, birds perch, wild animals burrow under it. That marks the end of the big tree, nations. No more trees nourished from the great deep. No more cloud-piercing trees. No more earth-born trees taking over. They're all slated for death, back to earth, right along with men and women for whom it's dust to dust. The message of God the Master. On the day of the funeral of the big tree, I threw the great deep into mourning. I stopped the flow of its rivers, held back great seas, and wrapped the Lebanon mountains in black. All the trees of the forest fainted and fell. I made the whole world quake when it crashed, and threw it into the underworld to take its place with all else that gets buried. All the trees of Eden and the finest and best trees of Lebanon, well watered or relieved. They had descended to the underworld with it, along with everyone who had lived in its shade and all who had been killed. Which of the trees of Eden came anywhere close to you in splendor and size? But you're slated to be cut down to take your place in the underworld with the trees of Eden, to be a dead log stacked with all the other dead logs, among the other uncircumcised who are dead and buried. This means Pharaoh, the pompous old goat, decree of God, the Master. In the 12th year and the first day of the 12th month, God's message came to me. Son of man, sing a funeral lament over Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Tell him, you think you're a young lion prowling through the nations. You're more like a dragon in the ocean, snorting and thrashing about. God the Master says, I'm going to throw my net over you. Many nations will get in on this operations and haul you out with my dragnet. I'll dump you on the ground out in an open field. Bring in all the crows Sorry about that, folks. And bring in all the crows and vultures for a sumptuous carrion lunch. I'll invite wild animals from all over the world to gorge on your guts. I'll scatter hunks of your meat in the mountains and strew your bones in the valleys. The country right up to the mountains will be drenched with your blood filling every ditch and channel. When I blot you out, I'll pull the curtain on the skies and shut out the stars. I'll throw a cloud across the sun and turn off the moonlight. I'll turn out every light in the sky above you, put your land in the dark, decree of God the Master. I'll shake up everyone worldwide when I take you off captive to strange and far-off countries. I'll shock people with you. Kings will take one look and shudder. I'll shake my sword and they'll shake in their boots. On the day you crash, they'll tremble, thinking, this could be me. God the Master says, the sword of the king of Babylon is coming against you. I'll use the swords of champions to lay your pride low, use the most brutal of nations to knock Egypt off her high horse, to puncture the hot air pomposity. I'll destroy all their livestock that graze along the river. Neither human foot nor animal hoof will muddy these waters again. I'll clear their springs and streams and make their rivers flow clean and smooth. Decree of God the Master, when I turn Egypt back to the wild and strip her clean of all her abundant produce, when I strike dead all who live here, then they'll realize that I am God. This is a funeral song. Chant it, daughters of the nations. Chant it over Egypt for the death of its pomp. Decree of God the Master. In the 12th year, on the 15th day of the first month, God's message came to me. Son of man, lament over Egypt's pompous ways. Send her on her way. Dispatch Egypt and her proud daughter nations to the underworld, down to the country of the dead and hurled and buried. Say, you think you're so high and mighty? Down. Take your place with the heathen in that unhallowed grave. She'll be dumped in with those killed in battle. The sword is bared. Drag her off in her proud pomp. All the big men and their helpers down among the dead and buried will greet them. Welcome to the grave of the heathen. Join the ranks of the victims of war. Assyria is there in its congregation, the whole nation a cemetery. Their graves are in the deepest part of the underworld, a congregation of graves, all killed in battle, those people who terrorized the land of the living. Elam is there in her pride, a cemetery, all killed in battle, dumped in her heathen grave with the dead and buried. These people who terrorize the land of the living, they carry their shame with them, along with the others in the grave. They turned Elam into a resort for the pompous dead, landscaped with heathen graves slaughtered in battle. They once terrorized the land of the living. Now they carry their shame down with the others in deep earth. They're in a section set aside for the slain in battle. Meshech Tubal is there in all her pride, a cemetery in uncircumcised ground, dumped in with those slaughtered in battle, just deserts for terrorizing the land of the living. Now they carry their shame down with the others in deep earth. They're in the section set aside for the slain. They're segregated from the heroes, the old-time giants, who entered the grave in full battle dress, their swords placed under their heads and their shields covering their bones. Those heroes who spread terror through the land of the living. And you, Egypt, will be dumped in a heathen grave, along with all the rest, in the section set aside for the slain. Edom is there with her kings and princes. In spite of her vaunted greatness, she is dumped in a heathen grave with the others headed for the grave. The princes of the north are there, the whole lot of them, and all the Sidonians who carried their shame into the graves. All that terror they spread with their brute power, dumped in unhallowed ground, with those killed in battle, carrying their shame with the others headed for deep earth. Pharaoh will see them all, and pompous old goat that he is, take comfort in the company he'll keep. Pharaoh and his slaughtered army, decree of God, the Master. I used him to spread terror in the land of living, and now I'm dumping him in heathen ground with those killed by the sword. Pharaoh and all his pomp, decree of God, the Master. God's message came to me, Son of man, speak to your people, tell them, if I bring war on this land and the people take one of their citizens and make him their watchman, and if the watchman sees war coming and blows the trumpet, warning the people, then if anyone hears the sound of the trumpet and ignores it, and war comes and takes him off, it's his own fault. He heard the alarm, he ignored it, it's his own fault. If he had listened, he would have saved his life. But if the watchman sees war coming and doesn't blow the trumpet, warning the people, and war comes and takes anyone off, I'll hold the watchman responsible for the bloodshed of any unwarned sinner. You, Son of Man, are the watchman. I've made you a watchman for Israel. The minute you hear a message from me, warn them. If I say to the wicked, wicked man, wicked woman, you're on the fast track to death, and you don't speak up and warn the wicked to change their ways, the wicked will die unwarned in their sins, and I'll hold you responsible for their bloodshed. But if you warn the wicked to change their ways and they don't do it, they'll die in their sins well warned, and at least you will have saved your own life. Son of man, speak to Israel. Tell them, you've said, our rebellions and sins are weighing us down. We're wasting away. How can we go on living? Tell them, as sure as I am the living God, I take no pleasure from the death of the wicked. I want the wicked to change their ways and live. Turn your life around. Reverse your evil ways. Why die, Israel? There's more, Son of Man. Tell your people, a good person's good life won't save him when he decides to rebel, and a bad person's bad life won't prevent him from repenting of his rebellion. A good person who sins can't expect to live when he chooses to sin. It's true that I tell good people, live, be alive. But if they trust in their good deeds and turn to evil, that good life won't amount to a hill of beans. They'll die for their evil life. On the other hand, if I tell a wicked person you'll die for your wicked life, and he repents of his sin and starts living a righteous and just life, being generous to the down and out, restoring what he had stolen, cultivating life-nourishing ways that don't hurt others, he'll live. He won't die. None of his sins will be kept on the books. He's doing what's right, living a good life. He'll live. Your people say, the Master's way isn't fair, but it's the way they're living that isn't fair. When good people turn back from living good lives and plunge into sin, they'll die for it. And when a wicked person turns away from his wicked life and starts living a just and righteous life, he'll come alive. Still, you keep on saying, the Master's way isn't fair. Well, see, Israel, I'll decide on each of you exactly according to how you live. In the 12th year of our exile, on the 5th day of the 10th month, a survivor from Jerusalem came to me and said, the city's fallen. The evening before the survivor arrived, the hand of God had been on me and restored my speech. By the time he arrived in the morning, I was able to speak. I could talk again. God's message came to me, Son of man. Those who are living in the ruins back in Israel are saying, Abraham was only one man and he owned the whole country. But there are lots of us. Our ownership is even more certain. So tell them, God the Master says, you eat flesh that contains blood. You worship no god idols. You murder at will, and you expect to own this land? You rely on the sword. You engage in obscenities. You indulge in sex at random, anyone, anytime, and you still expect to own this land? Tell them this, Ezekiel, the message of God the Master. As sure as I am the living God, those who are still alive in the ruins will be killed. Anyone out in the field I'll give to wild animals for food. Anyone hiding out in mountain forts and caves will die of disease. I'll make this country an empty wasteland, no more arrogant bullying. Israel's mountains will become dangerously desolate. No one will dare pass through them. They'll realize that I am God when I devastate the country because all of the obscenities they've practiced. As for you, son of man, you've become quite the talk of the town. Your people meet on street corners and in front of their houses and say, let's go hear the latest news from God. They show up, as people tend to do, and sit in your company. They listen to you speak, but don't do a thing you say. They flatter you with compliments, but all they care about is making money and getting ahead. To them, you're merely entertainment, a country singer of sad love songs, playing a guitar. They love to hear you talk, but nothing comes of it. But when all this happens, and it is going to happen, they'll realize that a prophet was among them. And that is it for today's Bible reading. And it was a long one. As always, remember to get in touch with God today. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.